Hello there, and we're once again talking more about financial literacy. And today we're going to be talking about you as an individual. So not just young people, but how do you teach yourself financial literacy? Maybe like so many other Americans, you were never taught it. Well, today we're going to break down kind of the steps that you need to go through to teach yourself financial literacy. If you're going to teach yourself financial literacy, begin by you taking responsibility. So we'll talk about what that entails. There's also getting the knowledge, and what about the skills? What tools do you need? Your mindset, the beliefs, the habits, all of those different components that you need to kind of find out about. We're going to be talking about each and every one of those in this video, so stay tuned. All right, first thing you need to do is take responsibility. One of the things that's going to be the biggest challenge for you with this is responsibility over your time. Because if you are now needing to develop these skills and this knowledge and all these other things about financial literacy, that requires time to do that, time that you are not right now spending on doing that. So the first area of responsibility is probably to step back and do like a time audit to figure out where you're going to carve out this time, right? What's going to give, because you've got the same amount of time that I have as anybody else has. You got 1,440 minutes in a day. So what is that time being spent on? And that's your most valuable resource. That's your responsibility to begin to figure out. Because once you kind of know that and decide, all right, this is what I'm going to give up, then we can begin to make those steps in showing you how to go about building those habits and some of these other things that you need to do. So first thing is responsibility. Primarily, we're going to be talking about responsibility for your time, become aware of how you're spending it, and prioritize it. The next thing that you really kind of need to take responsibility for is figuring out what you already know and what you need to know. One of the principles that's often taught is a 50-30-20 rule. So 50% of your income needs to go to needs, right? The things that you have to really do. Food, clothing, shelter, taxes, right? That kind of stuff. Then 30% are those kind of luxury items, the things you would really like to have. And 20% savings and debt. And there's another rule that's kind of associated with that that's important to recognize, and that's this idea of pay yourself first, all right? Now, some people say you pay government, God, yourself, right? So the idea there is you give some money away, important principle, got to pay your taxes, and then you pay yourself. Then you have the other things for food, shelter. So some people argue that 50%, that comes after you've done those other things. So there's some subtleties there, but it's that sort of knowledge that you need to figure out. Then the skills around budgeting, managing, sitting down, taking the money out, balancing your checkbook, all these what used to be fundamental financial management, home management skills that you need to make sure you understand what goes into that, right? So know what the knowledge you have, what's missing, and then you can begin to prioritize how you're going to get that missing knowledge. There are so many tools available, not just to use to manage your money, right? There are some that you buy, you pay for, you subscribe to, important, valuable, I do it. But we're also talking about learning tools, learning programs that are out there, many for free. There's a wealth of available resources for you to learn that knowledge and the skills that you don't have without having to pay for it, right? There are government programs out there that you can access. So there's a whole lot that you could probably get by utilizing the internet, utilizing even now AI, by asking AI the questions, having it give you that knowledge base, and learning from that, developing your own kind of course, right? That's a little bit separate from learning the tools. What are the tools? What are the best tools to have and how to use those? Those are kind of two separate components, but it's also readily available. It's up to you to begin to try to find those and organize. And it begins with understanding what you know and what you don't know, right? So that's kind of where it all begins. One of the greatest challenges that you're going to have is building habits. And I think we know this. Instinctively, we all know this, right? I'm probably talking to the vast majority out there have at some point in your life made a New Year's resolution and never followed through on it. It's about habits. Building habits can be challenging. So let me give you a couple principles there that you really want to be thinking about. And one of them is accountability partners. So if you're a married couple, your spouse, your partner, work together. Help both of you. Family, help your kids at the same time. What are these habits you need to build? What are the daily habits and weekly habits? Identify them and then make a commitment to doing them. Right? It might be that you only feel you need 2 or 3 days a week habits. Identify what the habits are, develop a plan for implementing them, right? One little step at a time. Start small, repeat it, be held accountable, and keep going. You need to do this for, on average, 66 consecutive days for it to become a habit. If it gets interrupted, particularly if you're in the middle of those 66 days, and it gets interrupted for a couple times, you got to start all over again. This is the challenge. Accountability team, create rituals, make it important, prioritize it, and then, as Nike says, just do it. The other thing is part of this whole, it's really part of the habit building, because I talk a lot about habits in your life around managing your mindset. And your mindset around money, you need to, again, awareness, identify it. What are those beliefs that you have around money, about wealth and poverty and investing, risk? When you begin to understand those, you can begin to look at those and go, no, that's a good belief, that's fine, it's not limiting me in any ways. And then there are other beliefs that can sometimes be told in like terms of mantras that you may have had, or some saying that you may have grown up listening to, that really cap your ability to maybe take calculated risks that you need. Risk tolerance. You need to understand what yours are, and then are they helping you or maybe putting a limit on you? If they're putting a limit on you, you've got to evaluate, all right, what might be a better belief to have? What are those beliefs that top money people, wealth created people have? And then how do I adopt those beliefs and get rid of these other ones? That is, again, it's your responsibility. The information's out there, but you need to begin to plan it out, think it out, and build that as part of your habits and routine on doing just that. The last one I want to talk to you about is communication. And again, there's so much around this. There's beliefs, your mindset around not just money and wealth and all that, but there's unwritten rules you have around family dynamics and how you communicate with your loved ones and your partner. Those communication histories that you're bringing forward, those need to be identified as well. This is one reason why part of my entire curriculum has this whole component on family, because we bring with us so many unwritten rules about communication and about dealing with stress and about financial history and all that, that are unconscious but greatly impact how we go about communicating. And this was a struggle. Well, really, my wife and I had a wonderful marriage relationship, but money was one of the challenges. And there was, her upbringing around money and mine were different. And we each brought some of that in, and learning how to communicate that and understanding the emotions behind that are really important. And it's, again, a lot of it's mindset related, begins with awareness. So then you can identify the things you need to kind of weed out and what you want to, ideas you want to plant, so you can have that important communication without it becoming a stressful situation. Okay, so we've wrapped up yet another video. And as always, I encourage you to subscribe. I would also encourage you to register for one of our free webinars. There's several out there. One in particular that might be helpful in this area is Enhance Your Child's Performance in Athletics, Academics, the Arts, and Life. Because in that, there'll be certain principles and stuff that are taught that could be applicable to this particular topic. So register for that today. Check that video out, that webinar out. Come back and check out some of our other videos.